Hello there, welcome to the Sleepy Knowledge channel. Tonight, you drift through the quiet corridors of existence itself, to the moment when time first awoke. The stars are still asleep. The cosmos has not yet begun to breathe. You hover in a place where there is no before, no after, no rhythm. Only stillness, infinite and complete. You imagine the universe as a great ocean, utterly calm before the first wave. There is no light yet, no sound. Only potential, a silence so deep that even eternity seems unborn. And then, without a signal, without a cause your mind can name, something stirs. A shimmer of energy trembles across the void. It is the first breath, the first heartbeat, the beginning of time itself. The Big Bang is not a noise or explosion in the ordinary sense. It is a swelling, a rising note in a cosmic symphony. Space stretches, matter condenses, and time, that unseen current, begins to flow, carving its invisible river through everything that ever will be. You drift with it, feeling how seconds and stars are born together, woven into one endless fabric. In that first instant, everything happens at once. A trillion reactions, 1,000 beginnings. Hydrogen forms like gentle mist, fusing into the first light. The newborn universe glows in soft radiation, a cradle of warmth spreading outward forever. Time expands with it, stretching like silk drawn between galaxies yet to be born. You sense its rhythm, slow and uneven, like the breathing of a sleeping child. You imagine being a particle carried in that tide, drifting through the newborn cosmos. There is no up or down, only movement. The seconds are meaningless, they have just been invented. The universe is learning to count, and each flicker of existence is a step forward in the dance of time. You are part of it, a whisper among the atoms, floating between the first sparks of creation. The universe is still young. Every moment feels eternal, yet already, the future is unfolding like a scroll of starlight. Gravity begins its gentle pull, gathering clouds of dust into the seeds of galaxies. The first stars ignite, blazing across the darkness, marking the passage of cosmic time. For the first time, shadows exist. The universe now knows contrast, light and dark, past and future. You imagine time as a delicate thread being spun from those first photons. Each flicker of light stretches that thread farther, weaving the first seconds into minutes, the first minutes into eons. Space grows wider. Temperature drops. The universe exhales, and time follows its breath outward into infinity. Every atom remembers this expansion, this gentle stretching of what we call was into what we call will be. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it. The hum of the early universe. A faint cosmic note still vibrating through everything, even now. Scientists call it the cosmic microwave background. But to your drifting mind, it feels like a lullaby from the dawn of creation. A soft echo of time's first heartbeat. You are surrounded by it, bathed in its quiet music, drifting weightlessly through the glow of beginnings. Billions of years pass, but to time itself, there is no rush. Stars live burn and die, scattering their ashes into new worlds. Galaxies spin, collide, and bloom like cosmic flowers in an infinite garden. Time flows gently through all of it, never hurried, never paused. You float within that river, watching it carry whole universes downstream, as easily as a leaf drifting on a morning breeze. You realize that time is not a clock or a number. It's a feeling. It is the way change unfolds, the way motion finds meaning. Without it, everything would be frozen, silent, unmoving. Time is the soft pulse that keeps existence alive. Even now, it moves through you, through your breath. Your heartbeat, the slow rhythm of your thoughts. You are a vessel for its current, a small reflection of the universe's endless unfolding. You imagine what it must have been like before this flow began, a world without before. No sequence, no cause, no story. Just a pure, timeless silence. Perhaps you think time was born the moment the universe began to remember. The instant the cosmos carried information from one moment to the next. That was when the story started. That was when forever learned to move. The atoms that make up your body were once part of that first explosion. They remember the birth of time. They have drifted through suns, oceans, clouds and bones, keeping the rhythm of the cosmos within them. You carry that rhythm still, every cell a tiny clock, ticking in harmony with the expansion of the universe. You are not outside of time, you are made of it. Every breath is a continuation of that first awakening. As you drift deeper, you sense that time is not a straight line, but a living thing. It stretches and curves with gravity, bends around mass, ripples like water disturbed by motion. The heavier the world, the slower time moves. The lighter you feel, the faster it flows. You are part of this subtle dance, the cosmic balancing act between mass and motion, energy and emptiness. In the distance, galaxies shimmer like floating lanterns. Each one burns with billions of suns, each sun a keeper of seconds. Their light travels across the darkness, carrying ancient stories, arriving long after their origins have faded. You watch those photons pass by, knowing they have been traveling since near the beginning. The first dawn still reaching us tonight. The more you drift, the softer everything feels. The edges of thought blur. Time itself feels less like a river and more like a mist, surrounding you, flowing through you, gentle and infinite. You can no longer tell if a second has passed or a century. All that remains is movement, warmth, and an endless sense of becoming. And somewhere within that stillness, you realize something quiet and profound. Time is not something that moves around you. It is something that moves through you, always has, always will. You are the witness, the measure, the breath within eternity. Every heartbeat a continuation of that first cosmic sigh. The stars drift farther now. The universe continues its silent expansion. You are still floating, carried gently in that eternal current. The same current that began when time itself first awoke and took its first, slow, endless breath. You drift now into a silence even older than the stars. Before the first light, before the breath of time, there was only stillness. No movement, no memory, no rhythm of before or after. You imagine it, an ocean without waves, a sky without color. A place so calm that even thought could not echo. It is not empty, only waiting. Waiting for the spark that would teach it how to begin. You float within that waiting space, weightless, timeless. The idea of you has no meaning here. There is no past behind you, no future ahead. Everything simply is. The universe is folded into itself, smaller than an atom, heavier than infinity. All the laws of nature that will one day sculpt galaxies are still asleep, curled in the cradle of nothingness. And then you feel it, a quiet tension in the stillness, a gathering. Energy winding itself tighter, like a held breath before a song begins. Scientists call this the quantum foam, the restless potential that flickers at the edge of existence. To you, it feels like the heartbeat of possibility itself, pulsing beneath the surface of nothing. Each flicker could have been a universe, each tremor a beginning that almost was. In that silence, time does not yet flow. There are no seconds, no sequence, no sense of change. If you could stand there, though standing has no meaning yet, you would see everything and nothing at once. The past, the future, all folded into one brilliant pause. It is a kind of still eternity, where the word, before, does not exist because nothing has happened to compare it to. The moment before the beginning is strange and sacred. It is not chaos, but a kind of perfect balance. Everything that could be, holding hands with everything that is not. Energy and emptiness dance together, indistinguishable. Matter does not exist yet, but its story is already written in the trembling dark. You feel that story pressing softly against you, like a dream about to wake. You imagine the universe as a seed, invisible, pulsing with unspent creation. Inside it, the fabric of time is woven tight, every thread compressed into a single infinite point. The seed hums, it vibrates, it almost sings. And when that vibration reaches its threshold, the song bursts open, the seed unfolds. Time spills outward, like light through shattered glass. If you could hear it, it would sound like the universe exhaling for the first time. A single sigh that becomes the sound of everything. Matter, motion, light, and time itself rushing into being. Space expands faster than thought. Atoms find each other and begin to dance. And you drift within that newborn current, feeling seconds begin to form like ripples on the surface of an endless sea. But here, in this quiet prelude, you remain just before that sigh, suspended between what was not and what will be. It is a strange place, not absence, but potential. Scientists call it the Planck epoch, the briefest instant imaginable, when physics as we know it has no meaning. To you, it feels like a pause between heartbeats, where the universe holds its breath before everything changes forever. You sense that time itself is waiting to learn how to move, like a stream frozen before the thaw. When the first particles of energy spill into space, time will stretch with them, flowing outward, 1 second following another. But here, there is no after. Every possibility exists at once. It is peaceful in its way. A quiet unity before the separation of moments, before the ticking of clocks. You imagine yourself drifting closer to that threshold, the boundary between nothing and something, the horizon of becoming. It is not a wall but a shimmer, the soft edge of a dream turning real. You reach toward it, and it hums under your fingertips, full of warmth and potential. It feels alive, though life does not yet exist. It feels ancient, though time has not yet begun. In this twilight between realities, every law of nature waits like an unopened book. Gravity, electromagnetism, the dance of atoms, all of them still silent, unspoken. They exist as whispers of mathematics, gentle equations suspended in the void, waiting for a single command begin. When that command arrives, they will rush into action, weaving the first patterns of creation, sculpting the rhythm that will become time. You can almost feel it, that moment of awakening, where stillness gives way to flow. It is neither violent nor loud. It is tender, like dawn spilling over the horizon after endless night. The silence breaks, not with a bang but with a breath. The cosmos stirs, and from that first trembling motion, time begins to unfold, carrying everything. Stars, galaxies, thoughts, dreams, in its invisible current. Yet you linger just before that moment, the hush before the dawn. You listen to the nothingness and realize it hums softly, like a lullaby from a world that doesn't yet exist. Its rhythm is slow and soothing, its tone eternal. Perhaps this is what eternity truly feels like. Not endless time, but the absence of it. A peace untouched by change. In that eternal stillness, there is no urgency, no age, no decay, no loss. Everything that will ever happen is already held gently within the seed of potential. The first star, the first ocean, the first dream, all of them sleeping here, waiting to be named. You drift among them, weightless, serene, surrounded by unborn galaxies and futures yet to unfold. The boundaries of you blur. You are not separate from this vast waiting space. You are the waiting, the stillness, the pause, the possibility. Every breath you take feels like the echo of that first pre-time silence. Every heartbeat like a tiny recreation of the moment before creation. And as you drift deeper into that feeling, you begin to understand something wordless. Time, as you know it, is only one way of seeing. Beneath it lies the timeless, the foundation of being, the ocean beneath all waves. In that ocean, every past and every future are folded together, shimmering like reflections on still water. You float there for what could be a second or a century, but it does not matter. Here, time has no meaning. Only the soft pulse of existence remains, unmeasured, unbroken. Somewhere far ahead, the first spark will ignite. The first second will tick. The universe will begin to breathe. But for now, everything is calm, and you drift gently in the still heart of nothingness, where even time has yet to dream. You drift now through a universe already alive with quiet motion. Galaxies swirl like luminous whirlpools. Stars breathe and flicker. Planets turn in their orbits, tracing invisible patterns across the endless dark. And beneath all of it, something moves gently, unseen, the slow, patient dance of time itself. You imagine it as a soft current flowing through the cosmos, guiding every atom, every beam of light, every heartbeat. Time is not a clock here. It is rhythm, the silent pulse beneath the stars. You can feel it in everything. In the expansion of the universe, in the spin of planets, in the fading glow of dying suns. Every movement is a whisper of time passing, every pause a brief note in its endless melody. You float within that music, neither ahead nor behind, only present, carried by the slow dance of seconds. You imagine standing on the edge of a distant galaxy, watching it rotate. It moves with grace, taking hundreds of millions of years to complete one turn. To your human sense, that motion feels frozen, almost still. Yet time, from its vast perspective, sees the galaxy as alive, flowing and breathing at its own pace. You realize then that everything has its rhythm. Stars, atoms, even thought. Each dances to a different tempo within the grand waltz of existence. The earth turns quietly beneath you. A full rotation every 24 hours, a revolution around the sun every year. Mountains rise, crumble, and grow again over millions of years. Oceans shift their tides, glaciers move, forests bloom and vanish. All according to time's patient choreography. What feels still in one lifetime is, on a cosmic scale, always in motion. Even the ground beneath your feet is drifting, carried on tectonic plates, floating through Earth's molten heart. You drift higher, past the thin air, into the black calm of space. From here, Earth looks like a slow, breathing creature. Clouds swirl, continents drift, storms bloom and fade like sighs. You sense how time moves differently at every scale. Fast for a storm, slow for a mountain, instant for a spark of light. There is no single speed for time. It bends and stretches, following the flow of energy through all things. You think of light, the fastest traveler in existence. It races across the void at 186,000 miles per second, yet it never experiences time at all. From the photon's point of view, its entire journey happens in one eternal moment. The light leaving a distant star and the light touching your eyes tonight are part of the same instant, stretched across billions of years. You realize then that time is not the same for everything. It bends itself to the paths we take. Einstein once said that time and space are threads of the same fabric, spacetime. You imagine that fabric now, stretching softly across infinity, curving around stars, folding near black holes. Every planet and star creates a small indentation, a gentle dip in that invisible sheet. As objects move, they follow those curves, and their motion shapes how time flows. Gravity slows time down, distance lets it rush ahead. You drift through those folds like a leaf carried on a vast, invisible ocean. If you were to stand near a massive star, your seconds would pass more slowly. The pull of gravity would stretch time itself, holding you gently in its grasp. Far away, in the emptiness of interstellar space, time would glide faster, freer. You imagine watching both places at once. Seconds stretching near one world, racing past in another. Time, you realize, is not uniform. It bends, flexes, breathes, and dances with the weight of the cosmos. You drift now toward the heart of a galaxy, where gravity thickens like honey. A supermassive black hole turns silently, its pull so immense that even light cannot escape. Around it, space warps and time slows nearly to a stop. You imagine being there, near its edge, watching stars move faster and faster as they spiral inward, their light stretched, their moments elongated into eternity. From far away, it would look like time itself hesitated, trembling at the edge of infinity. The dance of seconds does not end there. Even in emptiness, time continues its quiet rhythm. It flows through the spaces between atoms, through the dust of comets, through the faint ripples of cosmic radiation still humming from the Big Bang. Everywhere you look, from the smallest particle to the largest cluster of galaxies, everything keeps time in its own way. Every motion, every decay, every transformation marks the passing of invisible seconds. You imagine that somewhere, in the deep cold between galaxies, time flows differently still. No stars, no gravity, just the slow, almost motionless drift of cosmic dust. Out there, a single second may stretch into what feels like a lifetime. Yet to the dust, there is no hurry. Time does not rush, it does not judge, it simply is. It moves only as fast as the universe allows. You realize that this slow cosmic rhythm echoes in your own body. Your heart beats like a small planet turning in its orbit. Your breath rises and falls with the same grace as the tides. Even your thoughts ripple through your mind in waves, each one a fragment of time's current flowing through you. You are not separate from this dance. You are part of its choreography. The same flow that turns galaxies also turns within your veins. If you close your eyes, you can almost feel the entire universe breathing with you. Stars expanding and contracting, worlds spinning, energy shifting from one form to another. All of it synchronized, as though the cosmos were a single organism, vast, luminous, and alive. Time is its heartbeat, steady and eternal, guiding each transformation with invisible rhythm. You breathe in sync with it, slow and deep, your pulse merging with the pulse of everything. You imagine the universe as a vast ocean of time, and you are a drifting wave upon it. You rise and fall, move and pause, carried wherever the current goes. You cannot stop it, but you can float with it peacefully, letting it carry you from one moment to the next. Every memory you hold, every dream you chase, every quiet second between heartbeats, all are ripples on that endless tide. As you drift, you begin to sense the gentleness of this cosmic motion. Nothing truly stands still, nothing truly hurries. Even decay is only transformation, another step in time's soft rhythm. Stars that die release their elements into space, seeding new worlds, new skies, new possibilities. From their ashes, the dance begins again. Slower here, faster there, never ending, never beginning, just flowing. You float farther now, through starlight and silence, through the long breath of the cosmos. You feel the seconds brushing past you like a soft wind. Time moves, yet you are still. The galaxies continue their graceful waltz, their spiral arms sweeping through the dark like lanterns in a cosmic ballroom. Everything turns, everything glows, everything dances to the slow, silent rhythm of time. You drift deeper now. where thoughts slow down and awareness becomes soft around the edges. The world you know, with its ticking clocks, its measured hours and numbered days, begins to blur. You start to feel the strange truth behind it all. The present moment is never still. It slips through your fingers like mist, disappearing the instant you try to hold it. The now, you realize, is only a shimmer, a bridge between what has already passed and what has not yet arrived. You imagine standing at the edge of a river. The water flows endlessly beneath you, never stopping, never repeating. You reach down to touch it, but the moment your fingers graze the surface, the current has already carried that water away. That is the nature of time. Each instant exists only for a breath before becoming memory. The present is not a place you can stay in, only a passing ripple, always changing, always moving. Scientists say that what you call know is just your brain's way of stitching events together. Your senses collect signals at different speeds: sound, light, touch, and your mind weaves them into a single smooth experience. But by the time that tapestry forms, the real world has already moved on. Even as you listen to this, you are living a fraction of a second behind the true present. You are always looking at the universe's reflection, never its face. You feel this illusion everywhere once you notice it. The light from the stars above you has traveled years to reach your eyes. When you look at them, you are seeing the past, a past so old that some of those stars no longer exist. Even the sunlight that warms your skin left the sun 8 minutes ago. The now is not immediate, it is delayed, like an echo in the vast cathedral of space. Every glimpse of reality is already history. You imagine time as a shimmering veil, rippling between what is gone and what is to come. You move through it constantly, like a traveler walking through fog. Behind you, the fog thickens into memory, fragments of moments you once touched. Ahead of you, it thins into possibility, shapes that have not yet formed. And around you, in every heartbeat and breath, lies the fragile illusion of now, glowing softly before it fades into the past. Your mind, gentle and curious, tries to define the present, but it never can. Even the smallest unit of measurable time, a Planck second, is fleeting beyond comprehension. By the time you could name it, it would already be gone. The present is always dissolving, a film melting in the projector of the universe. You cannot trap it. You can only drift with it, letting it carry you forward, as softly as wind across still water. You begin to sense how your thoughts echo the movement of time. Each one rises, lives, and fades, replaced by another, like waves on an ocean. No thought is ever truly still, yet the sea beneath remains. Perhaps the present is like that. Not a single instant, but a living rhythm, constant and changing all at once. You exist in that rhythm, neither trapped in the past nor racing toward the future, just floating in the quiet between. You imagine your heartbeat as a metronome, ticking gently in the background of your life. It feels steady, but each beat belongs to a different moment. The blood that leaves your heart now will not return the same. Every second, your body renews itself. Cells dying, cells born, breath entering, breath leaving. You are never the same person from one moment to the next. The illusion of no hides that endless becoming, the quiet miracle of constant change. There's something freeing in this realization. If the present is always slipping away, then clinging to it is like trying to hold the tide. You let it wash over you instead. Each passing moment is simply another note in the melody of existence. You don't need to chase it or preserve it. You only need to feel its rhythm as it flows through you. The present is not a point. It is a song, always unfolding. As you drift, you imagine how different creatures might experience the now. A hummingbird, beating its wings 70 times a second, must live in a world where time feels stretched, every flicker of motion a detailed eternity. A giant tortoise, moving through decades with unhurried patience, must feel time as a soft, thick mist. And what about the trees? Their now last seasons. Theirs is a patience so vast that they feel the world turning under their roots, while we feel only seconds pass. Even the universe itself feels time differently. Near a black hole, the pull of gravity bends time so much that an observer might watch entire centuries pass, while only moments drift by for them. The present, then, is not universal. Each corner of existence has its own tempo, its own heartbeat. You realize that what you call no is simply the measure of your own rhythm, the dance your consciousness keeps with the flow of reality. You let that idea settle in your mind, soft and deep. The present is not something to capture. It is something to experience. It's the way your mind breathes in the moment, the way awareness stretches across each heartbeat. You can feel it, faint but real. The delicate tension between memory and anticipation. A shimmer in your thoughts, a flicker of awareness, as if the universe itself pauses to listen before continuing its song. You notice the world around you moving in its quiet flow. The air shifts, almost imperceptibly. Dust drifts through sunlight like tiny galaxies spinning in slow motion. Every flicker of light is a record of something that already happened, a photon that has completed its long journey. Even your reflection, when you glance at it, is delayed by the smallest fraction of a second. You are always meeting yourself in the past. And yet, in this strange delay, there is beauty. The illusion of now is what makes life feel alive. Without it, everything would unfold at once. Every sound, every motion, every memory, all tangled in timeless stillness. The illusion gives structure to existence. It allows you to feel motion, story, change. Without the illusion of now, there would be no song, only silence. Time's flow gives life its melody. You think of your dreams, how they bend time, how hours can pass in minutes or minutes can stretch into days. Dreams remind you that time is not as rigid as it seems. Your mind can stretch it, compress it, skip it entirely. The present inside a dream is as fragile and unreal as the waking one. You begin to wonder if time is not something you live in, but something you create as you live. You drift deeper into thought, feeling the edges of your awareness blur again. The present, you realize, is less a place and more a feeling, a rhythm you sense but can never measure. Every inhale is new. Every exhale is gone. Between them lies a whisper of existence, a tiny shimmer where life unfolds. You can't hold it, but you can feel it. The gentle warmth of being alive in motion. Somewhere in the distance, a star collapses, its light destined to travel for eons before reaching any eyes. Somewhere else, a new star ignites, beginning its own bright story. Each moment in the universe happens at once, overlapping and echoing across the vast ocean of time. And here you are, floating within that ocean, suspended between the echoes and the beginnings, carried by the illusion of now. The seconds continue to drift past, uncounted, unnoticed. The air feels soft against your skin. You breathe. You imagine the universe breathing with you, expanding, contracting, endlessly flowing. The present slips gently away, like water from open hands, like a sigh fading into the quiet dark. You close your eyes and feel time flowing, like a gentle river that never turns. Moments drift past like leaves carried by the current, always forward, never back. You remember a breath you just took, the faint sound of it fading away. You can recall it, but you cannot relive it. Time seems to move in only one direction, and that quiet mystery begins to glow softly in your thoughts. In the heart of physics, this direction is called the arrow of time, a silent principle woven into everything, from melting ice to dying stars. You can reverse a video, make shattered glass whole again on the screen, but never in reality. Entropy, the measure of disorder, ensures that the world moves toward greater complexity, not back to its beginnings. It is the universe's subtle whisper, saying forward only. Child of matter and dream, you imagine a teacup falling to the floor. Porcelain pieces scatter like frozen raindrops, glinting in sunlight. You know, without question, that it won't leap back together. That time will not rewind. The reason lies in the laws of thermodynamics, the rule that heat spreads, energy disperses, and order fades into chaos. Each second adds a little more disorder, a gentle increase in the universe's entropy, and that gives time its direction. As you drift deeper, you begin to see this not as decay, but as evolution. The universe, from its fiery birth, has been cooling, spreading, unfolding its possibilities. From the first stars forming out of chaos to the rise of life on Earth, everything has followed this invisible current. Entropy may seem like loss, but in it hides creation, new forms, new moments, new beauty. The arrow of time is not destruction, but transformation. You picture yourself standing in a vast cosmic ocean. Waves of time stretch endlessly toward the horizon. Behind you, ripples fade, past moments dissolving into memory. Ahead, the water glimmers with possibilities not yet reeled. You cannot swim backward, but you can float, you can drift, you can surrender to the flow. In the stillness of your mind, you think about symmetry. Most laws of nature do not care about direction. They work the same if you reverse time. A planet orbiting a star could go backward or forward in equations just the same. But life memory, heat, and decay, they care deeply about direction. It is as if time itself has a preference, a quiet desire to keep moving onward. Deep in your body, the same rule flows. Your cells break down food, releasing energy, creating warmth, increasing entropy with every heartbeat. Every breath you take transforms order into motion, stillness into rhythm. The arrow of time is written not only in the stars, but also in your pulse. You are a small pattern in a vast process of becoming. You think of an old photograph. Its edges are soft, its colors faded. A frozen fragment of what once was. You can remember the moment it captured, but you can never return to it. That separation between memory and experience is the simplest proof of time's arrow. It moves forward in your thoughts. 2. Memory collects the past, but never predicts the future. Entropy gives rise to memory, scientists say. Because time flows forward, the universe records the traces of what has happened. The past leaves footprints, fossilized bones, carved canyons, worn mountainsides, the soft imprint of a leaf in stone. Each mark tells a story of movement, of things changing irreversibly. Without time's one-way stream, there would be no story at all. You begin to imagine reversing it. A world where raindrops rise, fires grow colder, and the sun sets before it rises. It feels impossible because it is. Our universe was born in low entropy, immense order, compact and bright. Since then, it has been expanding, spreading, exploring all the ways energy can scatter. The stars that shine above you tonight are engines of entropy. They burn fuel, radiate heat, and gently guide the universe forward in time. When a star dies, it leaves behind clouds of gas that may one day form new suns. In this grand dance, even endings feed beginnings. The arrow of time may point forward, but it is shaped by cycles of renewal. You feel the Earth's slow rotation beneath your dreaming mind. Days become nights, nights become days. To To you, it feels circular, but every spin carries you a little farther along the spiral of time. Even repetition is progress, because the universe never truly loops back. Each sunrise is familiar, yet never the same. You think of how we measure time: ticking clocks, moving shadows, decaying atoms. Each method relies on change, on motion, on something irreversible. An hour passes because things have moved from one state to another. Clocks don't create time, they reveal it, like ripples on a hidden current. You could smash the clock, but not stop the river. In deep cosmic silence, you sense the ultimate fate of time's arrow. One day, the stars will exhaust their fuel, galaxies will fade, and motion will slow. Entropy will reach its maximum. A perfect stillness. A uniform quiet across all space. There will be no more flow, no more difference between moments. And in that timeless calm, perhaps the arrow will finally rest. But for now, in this moment, it moves gently through you. You feel its rhythm in your breathing, its pulse in the ticking of your heart. You are both observer and participant, carried in the stream you're trying to understand. Each dream, each thought, each heartbeat, tiny ripples on the surface of something vast. The arrow moves, softly and endlessly. Sometimes, you might wonder what it means for the arrow to point forward. Forward relative to what? Forward for whom? From another dimension's perspective, maybe our flow of time is sideways or circular. Yet here, in your human frame, forward means change. It means living. You cannot escape it, but you can move gracefully with it. In the gentle theater of sleep, you sense your memory shifting. Dreams rearrange the past, weaving it into new forms, new possibilities. Even as your body rests, your mind continues the work of time, processing, transforming, healing. You are not resisting the arrow, you are part of its motion. Every dream is a soft rehearsal for the next waking moment. You imagine the arrow as light, a golden beam stretching across eternity. It touches galaxies, atoms, hearts, and thoughts, connecting every change that has ever been. You are a small sparkle along that line, glowing briefly in the infinite expanse. But the light doesn't end, it just continues, branching, bending, finding new paths. There is something soothing in knowing that forward is the only way. And as your breathing slows, you feel less like you are moving through time, and more like time is flowing through you. It passes softly, brushing your skin like wind in tall grass. You are not chasing it, you are carried by it. The arrow moves gently onward, and you move with it. You do not need to understand where it leads. You only need to feel its calm persistence, the way it hums beneath everything. Even now, as your thoughts grow dim, the arrow continues its steady passage. It hums in the stars, in the oceans, in the spaces between your dreams. And somewhere beyond your awareness, it keeps unfolding, endlessly, quietly, forward. You drift into the soft hush of thought, where memory and time dissolve into one another. The night feels thicker here, layered with quiet echoes of what once was. You can almost see your memories floating in the dark. Tiny lanterns of light suspended in mist. They shimmer, flicker, and drift gently backward, illuminating paths that no longer exist. And yet, somehow they shape everything you are in this very moment. You imagine your mind as a vast ocean of time. Each wave is a memory, rising briefly before it falls back into the deep. Some waves sparkle clearly. The laughter of childhood, the scent of a favorite place. Others remain murky, lost beneath the surface. Forgotten, but still there, swirling in the current. Your consciousness moves like a gentle boat, gliding over what the brain chooses to remember. Scientists say that memory isn't a recording but a reconstruction. Every time you recall something, your mind rebuilds it, paints it anew with fragile precision. The details shift, the light in the room, the tone of a voice, the weight of a word. Your memories are not photographs, they are dreams redrawn again and again. And with every recall, the past subtly changes, breathing in the air of the present. You can almost feel it happening, the blending of now and then. Your brain's hippocampus flickers like a lighthouse in the dark, guiding old signals home. Neurons spark, connect, and whisper, forming bridges across time's invisible river. It is in these connections that your identity quietly lives. Not in the moments themselves, but in how your mind remembers their rhythm, their warmth, their motion through time. The air feels heavier when you think about memory. It holds so much of you. Every scent, every heartbeat, every fleeting face. But you realize something softly beautiful. Memory is not about holding on. It's about creating continuity, a thread of self that ties yesterday to today. Without memory, each second would vanish as soon as it arrived, like smoke on the wind. You remember the way a childhood day once felt. Slow, infinite, golden. Back then, an hour seemed to stretch forever, each minute soaked in possibility. Now, as you grow older, time feels quicker, compressed, almost impatient. But it's not time that has changed, it's memory that has evolved. Your brain, now wiser and more selective, folds moments together into smooth patterns of meaning. Time and memory are not separate, they are reflections of one another. Without time, there can be no memory, and without memory, time would have no shape. Your perception of a minute, an hour, a year, it all depends on what you recall. When you are lost in wonder, memory records more details, making time feel full. When life moves without notice, the days blur together and time seems to vanish. You imagine standing in a forest at dusk. The air hums with cicadas, and shadows stretch long between the trees. Each sound, each scent, each flicker of light becomes a fragment of this moment. Your brain quietly gathers them, not perfectly, but poetically. Later, when you recall it, you'll see less of what was real, and more of what felt true. Memory is selective, because the brain must conserve its energy. It doesn't record everything. It curates, edits, and composes a story. Emotion guides this process. Moments that stir the heart are remembered best. Fear, love, joy, and awe. These feelings carve deeper grooves in your neural landscape. You remember not the event itself, but how it made you feel in the stream of time. In sleep, memory shifts again. Dreams gently organize the chaos of the day, sorting experience into patterns. The brain replays, reshapes, and strengthens connections like a librarian rearranging shelves in the dark. Your memories become lighter, softer, easier to carry into the next sunrise. Even as you rest, time continues its quiet work inside your mind. You think of people you've met, voices that once filled your days. Some are still clear, others have faded into shadows of sound and feeling. But each one has changed the way your brain perceives the world. Every connection leaves an imprint, subtle but lasting, written in the language of neurons. The self you are now is the sum of all those quiet impressions left behind. You picture your memories as stars scattered across a night sky. Some burn bright and near, others are faint and far away. When you remember, your mind reaches toward one star, tracing its light across the dark. But the universe of memory is infinite, always shifting, expanding, reshaping itself. You will never see it all at once, but you carry it within you, like stardust. In the quietest moments, memory folds back on itself. You recall remembering, an echo of an echo, a mirror reflecting another mirror. The mind is strange that way, looping and weaving, blurring what was with what is. It doesn't matter that the details change, the essence remains. The emotional truth. That's what memory protects, not accuracy, but meaning. Sometimes, you recall things that never happened. A conversation that feels real, but wasn't. A place that seems familiar, but isn't. The brain, eager to make sense of the timeline, fills in the gaps with imagination. It's not a flaw. It's a kindness, a way to keep your story whole. Even illusions can soothe the mind's hunger for continuity. As you drift deeper into thought, you realize that memory shapes not just your past, but your future. It teaches your brain what to expect, how to dream, how to fear, how to hope. Every choice you make arises from remembered experience, gently predicting what comes next. The past whispers softly into the future, one thought at a time. You can almost sense time folding within you. Not a line, but a spiral. Each turn brings you back to something familiar, though slightly transformed. You revisit old places, reimagine old feelings, reinterpret what once seemed certain. It's how growth happens. Not through new time, but through new meaning in old memory. And so, your story evolves even as you sleep. There's a warmth in realizing that memory isn't just a record. It's a companion. It walks beside you, holding fragments of laughter, pain, and wonder. Sometimes it feels heavy, sometimes light as breath, but always it moves with you, bound to the same current of time. It is the most personal form of time travel you will ever know. You imagine opening a door into your own mind. Inside, rooms shimmer with moments from different ages of your life. Some are bright and noisy, others are soft and half forgotten. The corridor between them stretches endlessly. The architecture of your being. Every step forward takes you deeper into both past and present at once. Scientists still can't explain why we remember some things forever and others only for a moment. Perhaps the brain follows emotional gravity, drawn to what carries the most weight in the heart. Perhaps memory is less about storing data and more about sculpting identity. What you remember becomes who you are, and who you are shapes what you remember. You feel this truth quietly as you breathe. The rhythm of your lungs, the beat of your heart, the gentle hum of thought, they all form the background of countless forgotten moments. Even now, this very instant will soon drift away into memory's ocean. And later, you may recall it differently, softer, slower, more peaceful than it was. You are both the keeper and the creation of memory. Each recollection reshapes you, even as you shape it in return. In this constant exchange, the mind and time dance together. Their steps are fluid, unending, graceful. A waltz through the unseen corridors of being. And somewhere between each beat of that dance, the past breathes quietly into now. The stars outside seem still, yet they too are echoes of memory. Their light began its journey long before your world took form. When you gaze upon them, you're seeing the past made visible. Even the universe remembers, through light, through energy, through motion. It too is haunted by its own history, glowing softly across the fabric of space-time. As you sink deeper into rest, you feel that same ancient rhythm within yourself. Memory is time folded inside consciousness, a private cosmos of recollection and feeling. You are a collection of moments, drifting through the current of awareness. Every breath, every whisper of thought, every dream becomes another trace in that cosmic web. And even as your awareness fades, time continues weaving its quiet story through you. You sit within this moment and call it now. It feels still, solid, like a pause between what was and what will be. But if you listen closely, you can hear it shifting beneath you. The present is not a point. It is a river, always flowing, never fixed. Even as you think of it, it has already become something else. You imagine holding sand in your hands. For an instant, it seems still, resting, unmoving. Then you notice the grains sliding, tumbling, slipping between your fingers. Each particle continues its journey, never the same twice. Time behaves like that too. Impossible to grasp. Impossible to stop. Your mind loves the idea of the present. It creates the illusion of a frozen moment, a snapshot of reality. But the brain is always late. It takes time to gather light, sound, sensation. What you experience as know has already passed by the time you know it. You are always seeing the world's echo, a gentle delay of perception. The light from the moon above you left its surface over a second ago. The light from distant stars began its journey centuries before your birth. When you gaze upward, you aren't looking at what is. You're looking at what was. The universe you perceive is history shimmering in the dark, and the present moment, that fragile, now, is already ancient light. Even within your body, signals take time to travel. A touch on your foot reaches your brain a fraction later than one on your hand. Yet your mind weaves them together, creating the illusion that all sensations happen at once. It's a beautiful trick, a necessary one, to help you live in harmony with movement. Reality, however, never pauses long enough to become still. You imagine yourself standing beside a flowing river at dusk. The surface glimmers with amber light, soft and moving. If you try to point to one drop of water and say, "Now," it slips away instantly. You realize that time behaves the same. A motion that can be sensed, but never frozen. Even your awareness rides its surface like a drifting leaf. The physics of it all is wondrous. Einstein showed that there is no single universal. Now, each observer, depending on motion and gravity, experiences a different slice of time. Your present might not match another's across the galaxy, because time and space are entwined, bending gently with speed and light. Imagine two friends, one on Earth, another traveling near the speed of light. For one, years may pass, for the other, only moments. When they meet again, their versions of now will no longer align. It isn't fantasy. It's the fabric of reality, stretched and curved by existence itself. The present is local, personal, and endlessly shifting, like sunlight through water. Even on Earth, time flows unevenly. High in the mountains, clocks tick slightly faster than those near the sea. Gravity, ever so gently, bends the pace of moments. You, walking on the surface of this planet, experience your own private rhythm of now. Billions of beings share this same world, yet each lives in a subtly different present. The illusion of now is a gift. Without it, life would feel fragmented, disjointed, impossible to navigate. Your mind blends past and future just enough to make existence feel seamless. The moment you feel, the inhale, the thought, the blink, is really a tapestry of small delays stitched together into harmony. You imagine your awareness as a lantern moving through fog. It illuminates a small space, not too far ahead, not too far behind. That glowing circle of perception feels like the present. But all around it, unseen, are endless possibilities, waiting in the mist. You can't hold them all at once, so you drift through, one gentle moment at a time. When you listen to music, you sense something profound about time. Each note vanishes as the next arrives, yet the melody feels whole. The brain remembers the past notes and predicts the next ones, blending what has been and what will be into a single flowing experience. That is the illusion of now, not a point, but a pattern unfolding. Your heartbeat follows the same rhythm. Each thump anchors you to a moment that immediately fades. But the continuity between beats gives you the feeling of life persisting. Without change, you wouldn't sense time. Without motion, you couldn't feel now. Stillness is not the absence of time. It is time perceived as balance. You close your eyes, and for a moment, it seems that everything has stopped. But even in stillness, your body hums. Atoms vibrate, blood flows, neurons fire in quiet cascades of energy. Every second, billions of tiny movements define what feels like stillness. Even silence is motion too fine for your senses to perceive. The present, then, is not a location. It's an experience. Your brain, like an artist, paints it from faint traces of the past and expectations of the future. When you anticipate something, your mind steps ahead. When you recall something, it reaches back. And both meet in the middle, forming now. The illusion becomes your anchor in the rushing tide. You imagine time as a great forest. Every leaf is a moment, shimmering in the wind. You walk beneath the branches, sunlight flickering through gaps. Each flicker another heartbeat. The forest feels alive, infinite, but you can only see the patch around you. That patch, that limited glow of awareness, is your present. In truth, the universe does not experience, no, at all. It simply is. Every event, every motion, every possibility coexisting in space-time. From its perspective, time doesn't pass. It exists all at once, a vast cosmic tapestry. But you, as a conscious observer, move through it line by line, breath by breath. You bring time to life by experiencing it sequentially. Perhaps that's the most beautiful illusion of all. You give meaning to the universe's stillness by perceiving change. Each moment you live becomes the only no that ever truly exists for you. And as you drift from one to another, you carry a quiet eternity within your awareness. The illusion is fragile, but it's also sacred. You can test it in your thoughts. Think of a memory from earlier today. It feels recent, alive, almost still. Now think of a plan for tomorrow. It glows faintly, not yet real. Your awareness can slip between them effortlessly, proving that, no, is a bridge the mind builds between two unknowns. In dreams, this illusion stretches even further. Time bends and folds, hours can pass in seconds or seconds in hours. The dreaming mind no longer anchors itself to the external clock. It wanders freely through layers of memory and imagination, showing you how elastic the present truly is. And when you wake, your brain reassembles the rhythm of reality. It realigns the illusion, restores the linear flow of moments. Your body feels the continuity, your thoughts regain their sequence, and once more, you step into the quiet play of cause and effect. But somewhere, a part of you still drifts between layers of time. If you listen, you can sense it. That faint hum of the eternal. It's the sound of moments arriving and dissolving, like waves on a distant shore. The present is the crest of that wave, shining briefly before it falls. You live upon it, balancing between what has been and what could be. And even as it fades, another rises beneath you. You breathe in, and the world becomes vivid. You breathe out, and the moment begins to blur. Each breath marks a boundary between one now and the next. The body becomes a clock, the breath its pendulum, swinging endlessly between moments. You float within that rhythm, safe and unhurried. The illusion of now is not a deception meant to fool you. It is the mind's way of making peace with infinity. Without it, you would be lost in the immensity of space-time. But with it, you can rest, love, think, and dream. Each heartbeat becomes the universe reminding you that being is enough. And so, as you drift deeper, you let the illusion cradle you. You stop trying to find the present and instead feel its gentle motion. You become the river, the music, the breath, the flicker of light between stars. You exist not in a moment, but as the motion between them. forever arriving, forever dissolving, softly, endlessly now. You close your eyes and let the rhythm of your breathing find its gentle tide. The air feels soft around you, almost liquid in its stillness. Time hums beneath it all, like a quiet current beneath an unseen sea. You imagine yourself drifting upon that current, carried not by seconds or minutes, but by something far older. Something that existed before clocks, before suns, before the very idea of counting. You think of gravity, that invisible whisper pulling everything home. The moon feels it, the oceans feel it, and so do you. Every drop of water in your body, every breath you take, dances in time with gravity's patient pull. You wonder if time might be gravity's secret language, a soft conversation spoken in the motion of stars and the slow fall of rain. The way one moment flows into another feels less like steps, more like tides. Einstein once imagined this too. He saw that time bends where gravity gathers. That near a massive star, time slows, stretched like light passing through water. You picture yourself floating near one of those bright giants. Its glow rippling across your face as you drift slowly through a syrup of seconds. The closer you move, the slower everything feels. Even your thoughts seem to stretch and unfold, as if they too are made of time's gentle fabric. And then you imagine leaving that star behind. You drift toward the open dark, where gravity weakens and time quickens again. It feels like exhaling after holding your breath for eons. You realize how strange it is, that time can change speed, not because of your watch, but because of where you are. The universe, it seems, keeps its own rhythm, and you are merely listening to its cosmic heartbeat. Somewhere deep inside you, time feels personal. It moves with the pace of your pulse, your memories, your dreams. But out there, beyond the clouds, time is wild and impartial. It stretches and curves through galaxies, a flexible tapestry of motion and mass. You can almost see it, woven between planets, tangled in the dance of comets, soft as starlight, but strong enough to cradle suns. You wonder what it would feel like to step outside of it, just for a breath. To stand in the stillness where no clocks tick, no shadows move. Scientists call that timelessness, yet even the word feels too small. Because time isn't only what passes, it's also what holds. It gathers all things, from the birth of a star to the flicker of your heartbeat, in its invisible arms. You remember that light too, is bound by time. It moves fast, yes, the fastest thing there is, but even light cannot escape gravity's embrace near a black hole. There, time folds inward, twisted so tightly that even tomorrow cannot escape. You imagine peering over that edge. The stars behind you stretch and smear into ribbons of white. The sound of your own thoughts feels like echoes from another century. Everywhere you look, time behaves like a living thing, elastic, curious, and unpredictable. The smallest particles jitter in its field, their vibrations marking the quantum ticks of reality. The largest galaxies swirl like hands of a clock that no one set. Between them is a vast conversation of moments, a cosmic lullaby whispered across billions of years. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it. The faint hum of existence. The universe breathing in slow, endless patterns. Perhaps this is what time truly is. The breath of reality itself. Inhale expansion. Exhale collapse. A rhythm older than any star, yet still unfolding in every atom of you. You drift through that thought like a dream. Around you, galaxies rotate like lanterns on an invisible string. Some are still young, blue with the light of new stars. Others are ancient and red, their energy dimming, their time slowing. You sense that every one of them experiences the universe differently. Their own version of now. their own tempo in the symphony of spacetime. It's beautiful, isn't it? That no single moment is the same everywhere. Time is not one river, but many, all flowing together, merging and separating in ways the human mind can barely grasp. You picture it as an ocean, vast, rippling, alive. Every drop a moment, every wave a century, and you floating gently in the shallows, watching eternity lap softly at your feet. Back on Earth, the same rules apply. The satellites above you must account for time's shifting pace, just to tell your phone where you are. Without Einstein's insight, your GPS would drift, your maps would fail. Even the clocks on airplanes tick differently from the ones on the ground. You smile at the thought that every traveler, every drifting cloud, experiences a slightly different version of now. Maybe that's why memories feel the way they do. Some stretch endlessly, some vanish in an instant. Your mind bends time in its own way, replaying old moments in the soft glow of nostalgia. You don't just remember, you travel. Through laughter, through loss, through moments suspended in the amber of emotion. Your brain becomes a small universe, each neuron a spark of light traveling through time's endless corridors. You think of dreams next, those strange pockets of existence where time loses meaning entirely. You drift for hours but wake feeling as if only seconds passed. Perhaps your dreaming mind moves through time like a diver moves through water, slower, deeper, where the rules dissolve into something fluid and kind. It's no wonder sleep feels like a journey through the fabric of the cosmos. You can almost feel time moving around you now, quiet and infinite. It doesn't rush or push. It simply unfolds, like petals opening at dawn. Somewhere, a clock ticks, marking its passage in soft metallic whispers. Yet out here, in the calm of your mind, you feel no hurry. You exist between those ticks, in the stillness that time itself must pause to admire. Every second that passes is a gift of gravity, motion, and light. The Earth spins beneath you, carrying you through space at 1,000 miles per hour, yet you feel perfectly still. That's the paradox of time. It never stops moving, even when you do. You are always in motion, even in your quietest moments. And as you drift deeper into thought, you realize something profound. You are made of time. Every atom in your body was born in the heart of a star, billions of years ago. You are not just passing through time. You are time, condensed into human form, breathing, dreaming, and listening to the universe remember itself through you. The night feels endless now, like a page that keeps unfolding. The stars shimmer softly, each one a reminder that the light reaching your eyes began its journey long before you existed. You are seeing the past as the present, a beautiful illusion crafted by distance and time. And as that thought lingers, you feel yourself floating once more, caught gently in the current of something ancient and kind. Something that never truly ends. You drift deeper into thought, imagining time not as a number, but as a feeling. It hums quietly through everything you touch, like a slow vibration beneath your skin. The air around you feels thick with invisible rhythm, as if the seconds themselves breathe in and out. You begin to sense that time isn't something outside of you. It's woven through you, flowing with every heartbeat, pulsing softly with each inhale and exhale. You picture time as a vast ocean of motion. Every droplet a moment, every wave a lifetime. You float on its surface, calm and unhurried, while deep beneath you, centuries swirl in hidden currents. Somewhere in those depths, the first atoms danced. Their movement gave birth to time, the smallest beginnings of change. Because time, in its purest sense, is just that, the measure of change, the rhythm of becoming. You imagine the early universe, young and hot and bright, everything shifting, expanding, cooling. Each movement marking another beat in the great cosmic heart. Before there were planets, before there were days or nights, time already flowed. It was the quiet script beneath creation, tracing how matter cooled, how stars formed, how gravity sculpted meaning from chaos. You see it now, not as a ticking clock, but as a slow, elegant unfolding. Your mind drifts toward light, the traveler of time. Every ray that reaches your eyes has carried a story across the universe. Some began their journey millions of years ago, when dinosaurs roamed beneath different skies. Others left their stars just moments ago, still fresh in their glow. You realize you never truly see the present. You see the past, shimmering faintly, reaching you through the long, patient hands of time. The stars become storytellers. Each one whispers what was not what is. When you gaze upward, you are really looking backward, a traveler peering into history's soft glow. Light, in its endless speed, is also slow in its return. And so the night sky becomes a museum of memory, frozen in layers of time. The universe lets you glimpse its diary, written in constellations and colors. You feel the wonder of that. How everything you see, even your own reflection, is slightly delayed. Your eyes, your brain, your senses all process moments that have already passed. You are always a fraction of a second behind the present, forever chasing the now. Yet somehow, this delay feels comforting. Time moves gently enough that you can dance with it, step for step, never truly out of rhythm. You think of sound next, how even a whisper takes time to arrive. When thunder rolls, it's a memory of lightning's earlier flash. When music fills a room, it ripples through air like tiny waves of time. You realize how every sense, every experience, is shaped by delay. The world does not happen all at once. It unfolds, giving you space to feel, to notice, to breathe. Somewhere, you remember the ticking of a clock, the steady beat of seconds. But now it sounds less mechanical, more organic, like a pulse, like the rhythm of a living thing. The clock, too, is breathing, exiling time in small, measured sighs. Its sound reminds you that you are part of a much larger harmony, a quiet collaboration between all moving things. Your thoughts drift to the strange ways humans have tried to capture time. Sand through glass, shadows on stone, the rotation of the earth, the swing of a pendulum, the vibration of atoms. Each invention a fragile attempt to hold what cannot be held. Yet time always slips through. You can count it, record it, measure it, but never touch it. Like water through fingers, it keeps moving, gentle and untamed. And yet, you feel its texture. The way morning light stretches across your floor. The way shadows grow long and golden in the afternoon. The cool deepness of night. These are not numbers on a clock. They are sensations. They are the language of time translated into warmth, color, and motion. You begin to see that you don't live in time. You live with it, breathing beside it. You think about how every living thing carries its own tempo. Trees grow in slow circles of wood and memory. Rivers carve through stone over millennia, their patience unmatched. Even mountains, solid and eternal, shift beneath the steady hand of time. And you, with your fleeting heartbeats, are part of that same song. The difference is only scale. Your verse is short, but it still belongs to the melody. There's comfort in knowing that time touches everything equally. The stars age, the oceans change. Even light fades, stretching thinner as it travels. Nothing escapes the slow kindness of transformation. In that way, time is not your enemy, but your oldest companion. It walks with you, soft-footed, whispering through your bones, reminding you that everything changes because everything lives. Sometimes, time feels faster when you laugh, when you love, when you forget to look at the clock. In those moments, time seems to disappear. But it doesn't. It simply becomes transparent, blending into the background of joy. Other times, it feels heavy and still, like fog in your chest. That, too, is part of its nature. Time bends to feeling, stretches with emotion, coils around memory. It is both science and soul. You think of dreams again. Those mysterious spaces where time dissolves completely. Minutes can become years, and years can fade in an instant. In dreams, you are free from clocks. You walk through moments that don't obey gravity or order. Perhaps that's the purest form of time, when it becomes emotion itself. A current that carries not seconds, but meaning. The more you drift, the more you sense how time isn't something that passes. It's something that connects. The past, the future, the present, they aren't separate rooms. They are layers, overlapping like mist. Every action ripples forward and backward, touching what has been and what will be. You are part of that ripple, a wave in an infinite sea of motion. You let that image rest in your mind, the sea of time, glimmering under invisible light. Every particle a possibility, every breeze a memory returning home. You float there, between moments where seconds are neither ahead nor behind. Just endless, suspended, luminous stillness. And as you breathe, you feel the rhythm return. Your heart sensing with that hidden tide. The flow of change, the weightless drift of now. It feels endless, but not empty. You are surrounded by quiet motion, by the living pulse of the cosmos itself. Somewhere, deep within that rhythm, you sense that time isn't counting, it's listening. Listening to stars hum, to atoms spin, to you breathing softly in the dark. You imagine a clock made not of gears, but of galaxies. Each spiral arm turning slowly, marking the passage of unimaginable ages. The seconds are stars being born. The minutes are their deaths, fading into nebulae of color and dust. Time, you realize, is not only a number. It is motion, transformation, the endless exchange between what was and what will be. You drift into that thought like mist through a valley. Time feels alive, almost breathing. You can sense it brushing against your skin, not as pressure, but as rhythm. It's in the pulse of your veins, in the faint hum of electricity within your cells. Every heartbeat, every blink, every thought is a small measurement of time. Your personal clock, beating softly inside the vast machinery of the cosmos. Somewhere, light bends around a distant star. That bending, that slow distortion, is time itself curving. Einstein once saw this truth, and it changed how humanity imagined existence. Space and time are not two separate things, he said, but one, a vast woven fabric, stretching and bending under the weight of gravity. You imagine that fabric now, infinite and soft, glowing faintly like silk in starlight. You picture yourself lying on that fabric. The stars twinkle far above, but you can feel their pull. Every massive thing leaves a dimple in space-time, and you, delicate as dust, feel the gentle slope of it. Time flows differently in every hollow, every rise. It moves slower near mountains of mass, faster through the empty dark. You drift between those folds, like a leaf floating across rippling water. The idea feels strange but comforting, that you are not in time. You are time. Your body, your atoms, your memories, all part of the same flowing field. You are carried by it, but you also shape it, just as gravity shapes the path of a comet. The motion of your life ripples outward, tiny waves moving through the fabric of everything. Even your stillness, your sleep, becomes part of that quiet cosmic tide. You remember how light behaves. It travels straight, but never truly free. It bends around stars, dips into black holes, stretches across expanding space. Light is loyal to time's design, no matter how vast the journey. You realize that when you gaze at starlight, you are not just looking across distance. You are looking across time itself. The glow reaching your eyes may have begun its voyage long before Earth existed. The thought makes you feel both small and infinite. You are a witness to light that has waited millions of years to meet your eyes. Every photon carries an ancient story, written in wavelengths and silence. You are reading history written in beams of color. And as you breathe, you add your own chapter. Your heartbeat, your breath, your brief flicker among the eternal. You imagine spacetime stretching. The universe expands endlessly, carrying galaxies away like drifting lanterns. As it stretches, light itself thins, its wavelength pulled longer and longer, turning red, then invisible. Time, too, stretches with it. Every second becomes slightly longer, every motion slightly slower, though you never notice. The cosmos itself is aging, its rhythm decelerating in a grand, graceful sigh. Perhaps this is what eternity feels like. Not endless speed, but endless softness. Time smoothing itself out until it feels like stillness. You can almost hear it now, a low hum beneath everything. Steady and kind. It's the hum that holds the stars in place, that carries planets in their orbits, that allows life to rise and bloom for a while before drifting back into quiet. You let your thoughts sink into the scale of it. Billions of years. Trillions maybe. Yet even those numbers are too small for what time truly is. You see it as a river without beginning, flowing not from past to future, but in all directions at once. The present is only a shimmer on its surface, a place where you happen to float. Below are the depths of history, above, the shimmering waves of what is yet to come. Sometimes you wonder if the past is really gone. Physicists whisper that perhaps it isn't. That every moment still exists somewhere, frozen in spacetime's endless sculpture. The laugh you once shared, the stars you once watched, still hang in the structure of the universe, like lights embedded in crystal. You drift through that thought, imagining your life as a constellation of moments, each glowing softly in the vastness. The deeper you drift, the slower everything feels. Seconds stretch, melt, dissolve. You sense that your awareness itself might be the measure of time. When you are calm, time slows. When you are rushed, it races ahead. Maybe time is not an external ruler, but an inner rhythm. The heartbeat of consciousness keeping pace with the unfolding world. You can almost feel that synchronization now, each breath matching the soft spin of the planet beneath you. You imagine standing on the event horizon of a black hole, where time itself nearly stops. From far away, you would appear frozen forever, a statue of light hovering at the edge of eternity. Yet to you, time would flow normally, unaware of its distortion. This is the strangeness of relativity. Every observer carries their own version of reality, their own tempo of existence. Time is personal, private, and yet universal all at once. You think about how memory interacts with time. The brain doesn't record everything equally. It stretches certain moments, compresses others, edits the flow. In a way, your memories are your own space-time, your internal universe rearranged by emotion and meaning. A joyful moment expands, glowing bright and slow. A painful one collapses into darkness, pulled tight and small. Even in your mind, time behaves like the cosmos. As you drift deeper, you realize how fragile the concept of now really is. The present is always slipping. By the time you notice it, it's already gone. Yet something remains, a feeling of continuity that binds every second together. That thread is consciousness, moving steadily through the landscape of moments, like a traveler walking through fog. You never see far ahead, but you keep moving. One soft step at a time, you begin to wonder if time could ever end. Scientists say it might, that one day, energy will spread so thin, no motion will remain, no light, no warmth, just stillness. The heat death of the universe, they call it. But even that sounds peaceful in a strange way. A final pause, like the last note of a lullaby hanging softly in the air. And yet, maybe time never truly stops. Maybe it loops, folds, breathes again. Some theories whisper of universes reborn from the ashes of the last. Time expanding, collapsing, restarting. An infinite rhythm, a cosmic inhale and exhale. You drift within that rhythm now, weightless and calm. Carried through the endless pulse of creation. The air feels softer as you breathe. You imagine molecules vibrating slowly, light stretching gently across the room. You are a fragment of this rhythm, not apart from it, but within it. Your heartbeat, your breath, your quiet existence are all expressions of the same universal timing. And so, as you float deeper into stillness, you feel time as something tender, almost human. A gentle companion, not a ticking metronome. It doesn't rush you or chase you. It flows beside you, curious and kind. The stars, the atom, the beating of your heart, all keeping time together in a song that never quite ends. You picture yourself standing in a quiet forest at dusk. The air feels timeless here. The trees do not hurry, their growth slow and deliberate, stretching across centuries without counting the days. Around you, the light fades softly, shadows lengthening like deep breaths. You can almost feel time changing texture. No longer a ticking clock, but a slow ripple through leaves and air. You imagine that time moves differently for every living thing. For the mayfly, a single day holds an entire lifetime. Birth, love, and death in the blink of an eye. For a redwood tree, that same day is barely a heartbeat. Its memory stretches back through ages, through fires and storms and stars that have long since vanished. You realize that time is not one stream, but many, flowing faster or slower, depending on who is drifting in it. Even inside you, time behaves differently. The cells in your skin renew themselves in weeks. The cells in your bones take years. Neurons in your brain, though, might stay with you for a lifetime, carrying the same sparks of thought that began in childhood. You are a mosaic of different clocks, each ticking its own rhythm. You are not one age, but thousands. Every heartbeat, every cell, every breath following its private tempo. You breathe slowly, and the forest seems to breathe with you. The sound of wind through branches becomes a soft metronome, a reminder that nature has always measured time in motion. The rustle of leaves is the whisper of seconds. The growth of moss, the silence between bird calls, those are the minutes and hours of the wild. Nature does not rush, it unfolds. You think about how early humans measured time, not with machines, but with the turning of the sky. They watched the sun climb and fall, the stars drift across the dark, the moon wax and fade. These were their clocks, gentle, predictable, written in light. The first calendars were carved not to control time, but to honor its rhythm. Time was sacred then, a living force, a tide to be respected rather than chased. You imagine lying on the ground, looking up through branches toward the night sky. Above you, the stars burn steadily, though you know their light is ancient. Some of those stars are already gone, their glow still traveling through space, reaching you long after their fires have faded. The thought feels both strange and peaceful. You are seeing the past shimmer softly above your present. The forest around you is new, yet the light that touches it is millions of years old. You realize then that everything you see is time layered together. The soil beneath you is built from fallen leaves, each one once green and alive. The rocks are memory turned to stone. The air carries the breath of creatures long gone. You exist inside a vast, invisible museum, where every molecule holds the story of what once was. As you walk deeper into the forest, you notice how sound changes. Distant echoes arrive a heartbeat later, the trees bending them, softening them. Even sound takes time to move. Every noise is a memory of itself, a moment already gone by the time you hear it. You start to sense that you are always just behind the present, always chasing the fading shadow of now, and yet there is no rush. The forest teaches patience. A fallen tree becomes soil, and from that soil grows a sapling. Decay and birth are not separate. They are the same motion, the same current of time flowing in opposite directions. You realize that even endings are not endings at all, but transformations. Time doesn't destroy, it rearranges. You think of your own life, how the years seem to pass faster as you grow older. Scientists say it's because your brain measures time through memory and novelty. When you are young, everything is new. Every experience full of wonder. Time feels long because your mind keeps stopping to look. But as you age, the days blur together, smooth and familiar, and time slides quietly past. You decide that maybe slowing down, noticing again, might make time feel wider once more. You listen closely now. Somewhere in the distance, a stream murmurs softly. The water never pauses, yet each droplet moves at its own pace. Some swirl in eddies, some rush ahead, some linger in deep pools. That's how time feels tonight. A river of endless motion, yet somehow gentle, letting you drift without fear. You can step into it at any point, and it will carry you forward, never scolding, never demanding. The moon rises slowly, painting the forest in silver light. You imagine it as a great clock face, marking months instead of minutes. Its glow reminds you that time has phases too, bright and full, dim and hidden, always cycling back again. Perhaps your own life is lunar in its rhythm, waxing with energy, waning into quiet reflection, always returning to light. You think of how gravity bends time, even here on Earth. Up in the mountains, time moves just a fraction faster than at sea level. It's invisible, yet real, a tiny difference that shapes how everything unfolds. Time, you realize, is not a ruler but a fabric, stretching and folding under the weight of matter and memory. You feel yourself as part of that fabric, both held and holding, woven into the same cosmic thread that ties stars to soil. You close your eyes for a moment and picture the Earth spinning. Day and night, endlessly trading places as they have for billions of years. Each sunrise erases yesterday, yet carries its light forward. Each sunset gathers all those lost hours and lays them gently to rest. The planet itself is a clock, one that never stops, yet never hurries. Your breath deepens. The forest feels vast, eternal, but kind. Somewhere, an owl calls, its sound low and distant, drifting through time before reaching your ears. You wonder how many nights just like this have passed. How many people before you stood still beneath the same stars, feeling the same quiet pull of the hours. Perhaps every person who has ever lived has added something to time. A thought, a heartbeat, a dream, and they all still echo here. You begin to feel that time is less of a line and more of a circle. The present does not vanish, it folds gently back into itself. The moments you live now will become part of someone else's future. Perhaps in their breath, their stories, their laughter. In that way, time is a bridge, not a wall. You are walking across it even now, your steps light and certain, your pace perfectly in tune. The stars above grow sharper as the night deepens. The forest hums faintly, alive with unseen life. Somewhere between each sound, you sense something sacred. The space between seconds, the silent pause that holds the world together. You realize that perhaps time is not just what moves, but what listens. The stillness between moments is just as alive as the moments themselves. You let that thought linger, soft as moonlight. The forest, the stars, your heartbeat, all blending into one slow rhythm. Time stretches gently around you, vast but tender. You float within it like a leaf in the current, weightless, peaceful, and infinite. You are about to drift into a quiet journey of wonder, a place where thought becomes soft, where science whispers gently instead of explaining loudly. Tonight, you imagine the hidden threads that connect every living thing. The silent web of life that hums beneath oceans, forests, and the air you breathe. As you settle deeper into calm, you realize that the entire earth is breathing too. Each living being adding its quiet rhythm to the song of the planet. You imagine standing barefoot on a stretch of damp earth after rain. The ground is alive, pulsing softly under your feet. You can almost feel it. The invisible network of roots, fungi, and microbes exchanging messages, nutrients, and secrets. The forest floor beneath you is not soil alone. It's a living conversation. Tiny filaments of mycorrhizal fungi stretch for miles, connecting trees into vast communities that share energy and warning signals like a natural internet, older than language itself. You picture how one tree senses drought and sends signals through this underground network. Nearby trees begin to conserve water, shifting their metabolism to survive. It feels like a kind of quiet wisdom, an ancient intelligence without words or faces. You imagine each tree as a thought, and the whole forest as a mind, slow, deep, and aware in a way humans rarely notice. The air above glows faintly with unseen currents, every breath of wind carrying pollen, spores, and memory. As you listen, the forest begins to sound different. Not just leaves rustling, but communication. The low creak of bark, the rhythmic drip of water, the hush of soil being moved by tiny lives. Beneath you, bacteria and fungi decompose fallen leaves, turning death into nourishment. The air smells of renewal. Everything here recycles itself, effortlessly, endlessly. The forest has no waste, only transformation. You think about how the same carbon that formed your lungs might one day rise again in the veins of a tree. You imagine this living network extending far beyond the forest, out into the meadows, where grasses whisper in the wind, and into the oceans, where corals and plankton perform the same quiet symphony. Under the sea, coral reefs behave like forests too. Coral polyps share nutrients through colonies, feeding their neighbors as if they were one body. Fish rely on them for shelter, while plankton drift above, absorbing sunlight and exhaling oxygen. The breath that fills your lungs even now. You feel that breath move through you slowly, in and out, a wave that began perhaps in the ocean itself. Each inhale is ancient. Some of the molecules you breathe were once exhaled by dinosaurs, once trapped in glaciers, once rising from volcanoes. Every breath is a reunion with the history of life. The air you draw in carries memory, whispering softly through your body, connecting you to all who have ever breathed before. You picture Earth as a single, vast organism. The atmosphere as its lungs, the oceans as its blood, the forests as its beating heart. You imagine clouds forming like thoughts drifting across its mind, lightning flashing like brief sparks of realization. Rivers flow as if tracing veins through the planet's surface, carrying nutrients to where they're needed most. The entire world moves as one, slow and steady, every creature part of the same living pulse. You think about how humans sometimes forget they are part of this web. Cities rise, bright and humming, but beneath their concrete, the earth still breathes. Microbes still break down matter, worms still turn soil, roots still press upward toward light, even in the heart of a city. A single blade of grass breaks through cracks in the pavement, reclaiming its place in the endless cycle. Life does not resist change. It flows around it. You imagine yourself shrinking smaller and smaller until you can see the microscopic worlds hidden in a drop of water. Tiny plankton float like glowing stars. Bacteria move with purpose, their motions rhythmic, almost musical. Inside your own body, the same pattern repeats. Trillions of microorganisms live within you, digesting, protecting, and balancing. You are not one being, but a collaboration, an ecosystem walking on two legs. You begin to understand that individuality is an illusion, everything is shared. The thought feels comforting rather than strange. You are not alone, not separate from the world. Every heartbeat echoes the rhythm of the universe itself, pulsing, expanding, contracting. You imagine your pulse aligning with the distant tides, the slow rotations of planets, the breath of the wind across the mountains. It's all one continuous vibration, passing through matter and thought, light and silence. You picture the first spark of life on Earth, billions of years ago, deep in the warmth of an ancient ocean vent. From that single spark came everything: trees, whales, birds, and you. The same chemical patterns repeat again and again, rearranging themselves into new forms, but never disappearing. You are made of the same stardust, the same atoms, the same quiet fire. The boundary between you and the world begins to fade until it no longer matters. You think about how the human brain mirrors the cosmos. Neurons form galaxies of thought, their electrical signals flashing like constellations in the dark. Synapses glow like tiny stars, and messages flow across their space in milliseconds, just as gravity pulls light through the universe. When you think, it is as if the cosmos is thinking through you, a reflection of its own endless creativity. The same physics that moves planets moves your mind. You imagine floating now, not in a forest, but in space. Looking down at the glowing blue Earth below, you see its thin atmosphere shimmering like silk. Every light, every forest, every ocean current feels alive. You realize that from above, no boundaries exist. Only flow, only movement, only the unity of things breathing together. The continents look like veins, the clouds like soft breath, and the oceans like beating hearts. As you drift weightlessly, you imagine hearing the faint hum of the Earth itself. Scientists have measured it, a real low-frequency vibration called the Earth's background hum. It never stops, even when the wind is still and the waves are calm. You think of it as the sound of the planet's pulse, a song you have always been part of. Whether awake or dreaming, you float between that hum and your heartbeat, the two blending until they sound the same. Each vibration ripples outward, carried across oceans, through the ground, and into the air. You imagine whales singing in the depths, their calls echoing for hundreds of miles. Their voices travel through water like memories through time. Trees, fungi, whales, and stars, all communicating in frequencies you can almost feel but not hear. You think about how silence, too, is full of connection. The pause between heartbeats, the stillness before a breeze, the quiet beneath waves. These are not empty. They are the spaces where everything listens. Even the smallest particle hums faintly with motion. Even the coldest vacuum holds a trace of energy. Stillness is not the absence of life, but its foundation. You breathe again, slower now. The air feels heavy, calm, and whole. The boundaries between body and planet, between thought and nature, begin to dissolve entirely. You are the forest. You are the tide. You are the rhythm that keeps time between galaxies and grains of sand. The night deepens, but you no longer feel it as darkness. It feels like a vast ocean of calm, gently holding you in its quiet arms. Stars shimmer softly, like neurons firing in the mind of the cosmos. You imagine drifting endlessly, carried by invisible currents of energy and time, each moment folding into the next. Somewhere, far below or far within, the earth continues to breathe. You feel that breath move through you once more, steady, timeless, and alive. You imagine standing in a place where light has no sharpness, a place where it moves softly, like ripples across calm water. The horizon blurs into mist and sound drifts slowly, as if the air itself has grown sleepy. Here, you begin to think about time, not as numbers or ticking seconds, but as something fluid. Something that moves differently depending on where you are, how fast you go, and how deeply you feel. Time is not a constant companion. It stretches and folds like silk caught in a breeze. Einstein once imagined that time was not separate from space, but woven into it. A single, continuous fabric that bends around gravity and motion. You picture this fabric now, shimmering and endless, stretching under the pull of stars and planets. Each celestial body presses into it, curving its surface, shaping the way time flows nearby. You imagine standing near a massive planet, its gravity immense, its pull gentle but deep. Around you, light moves slower. The seconds lengthen like slow heartbeats. Far away, someone else might be watching the same moment. But for them, time rushes past more quickly, unbothered by gravity's hold. You realize that time is not something that flows equally everywhere. It is a river with shifting currents, bending around invisible stones. As you drift, you think about how this bending of time isn't only cosmic. You've felt it before. In moments of wonder or fear, time seems to move differently. A joyful hour passes in an instant, while a few seconds of uncertainty can stretch endlessly. The brain, like the universe, shapes its own perception of time, slowing or quickening it according to emotion, rhythm, and attention. You begin to feel that human time is as fluid as cosmic time, an inner reflection of the universe's flexible rhythm. You picture yourself floating in the darkness between galaxies. Stars swirl like glowing dust, each one bending the space, time fabric around it. Somewhere, a black hole turns slowly, its gravity so strong that time itself almost stops. You imagine what it would feel like to drift near its edge, a region where moments stretch into eternity. The event horizon, that mysterious boundary, feels like the edge of a dream once crossed. Nothing returns, not even light. You sense how strange it is, that time and gravity are one and the same dance. Where gravity is strong, time slows. Where it is weak, time runs freely. You imagine the surface of Earth beneath you, its gravity holding every moment in gentle restraint. Every clock, every heartbeat, every thought is shaped subtly by the planet's pull. Even the flow of time on a mountain peak moves a fraction faster than it does by the sea. Where gravity is slightly stronger, it fascinates you how delicate and precise this cosmic clockwork is. Satellites orbiting Earth must adjust their timing to account for these differences, or our GPS systems would drift and fail. The universe is not mechanical, it is elastic. Every second, you know, is molded by invisible forces, stretched by distance, curved by mass. Time, it seems, is not a metronome ticking away, but a living thing, breathing, expanding, contracting. You begin to think of the universe as an ocean. Space, time is the water. Massive stars are like islands rising from its surface, bending the currents around them. When a star collapses, it sends ripples across the sea, gravitational waves. You imagine these ripples passing through you now, so faint you cannot feel them. Yet so vast they travel billions of light years. Each wave carries the memory of a cosmic event. Two black holes colliding. Two stars merging in silence. You drift through this invisible ocean, letting the waves roll through your mind. They move slower than light, yet faster than thought. Scientists have listened to them, turning their faint signals into sound. The soft chirp of merging black holes, the whisper of a universe reshaping itself. You think about how extraordinary it is that humanity can detect such tiny changes in the fabric of reality. The detectors that sense them can measure distortions smaller than a fraction of an atom, yet those distortions began billions of years away. Time feels different now. It no longer seems like something you move through, but something that moves through you. Every heartbeat, every breath, is part of a larger rhythm. A universal pulse that began long before you were born. You imagine that when stars exploded and galaxies formed, those vibrations left echoes that still hum faintly within you. Perhaps you are made not just of stardust, but of star time, the lingering rhythm of ancient cosmic moments. You close your eyes and feel how time folds within memory. A scent, a sound, or a color can return you instantly to another era, another feeling. The brain does not experience time linearly. It leaps, loops, drifts backward and forward. You imagine neurons firing like small galaxies, their electric arcs crossing the past and present in patterns that feel like constellations. Memory becomes a personal universe, infinite and incomplete at once. Outside, the real universe continues its slow expansion. Space itself is stretching, carrying galaxies away from each other like dots on a rising loaf of bread. The farther away a galaxy is, the faster it moves from us. Time and space expand together, two halves of the same silent growth. You imagine that one day, distant galaxies will move so far that their light will never reach us again. The night sky will grow emptier, and the universe will fall quiet. Yet somewhere in that quiet, new stars will still be born. You picture a star forming in a nebula, dust swirling, particles colliding, heat building until light bursts forth. In that moment, time begins again for that star. From its first fusion spark to its eventual fading, it experiences its own timeline, its own flow of existence. Billions of years pass in its glowing heart, while on nearby planets, civilizations might rise and vanish in a single cosmic breath. Every star, every being, carries its own pace of time. The thought feels comforting. That time does not rush nor delay, it simply adapts. You imagine walking through a field of stars, each one humming its unique rhythm. Some pulse quickly, others barely flicker. Together, they form a cosmic symphony of tempos and light, harmonized by gravity, distance, and decay. Perhaps every being, even you, contributes one note to this infinite, ever-changing composition. As you drift, you think of how time may not truly flow at all. Physicists suggest that all moments, past, present, future, coexist in one vast, unchanging structure called the block universe. You imagine it like a crystal, with every event frozen in its own position. From your human perspective, you move through it, experiencing one moment at a time. But from outside, it all exists together, a timeless sculpture of existence. You can almost see it now. Each moment of your life glows like a bead of light on an endless thread. Some shine brighter than others, moments of laughter, awe, or quiet reflection. The thread weaves through galaxies, intertwining with countless others, forming a vast web of connections. Every choice, every breath, sends ripples through this luminous network. Nothing is truly lost. You think about how the future may already be written in some version of this tapestry. Yet, you also sense that awareness gives you the power to move gently within it. to notice, to appreciate, to slow the perception of time through calm. When you breathe deeply, you stretch the moment wider. You give it space to unfold, to shimmer a little longer before it fades. You feel time soften. Its edges blur, its weight dissolve. You imagine lying beneath a sky filled with stars older than Earth itself. Their light has traveled for millions of years to reach you, so that when you look up, you are seeing both the past and the present at once. You are a witness to time's layers, folded neatly into a single glance. The light touches your eyes, carrying the story of distant suns that no longer exist, and yet in this moment, they are still shining. The idea makes you feel small, but not insignificant. You are part of the same pattern, a fleeting spark in a universe that has been glowing since before time began. You close your eyes, and it feels as though time itself is breathing beside you. Slow, steady, endless. You let yourself drift deeper now, floating between moments. The ticking of time fades, replaced by the soft rhythm of your heartbeat. You imagine the seconds no longer as numbers, but as stars, infinite, quiet, gently pulsing in the dark. And as the universe continues to expand, you feel yourself expanding too, carried on the same endless tide of space and time. You imagine yourself standing in a quiet forest where the air hums softly with age. Everything moves slowly here, the wind, the drifting leaves, the silent growth of trees. Time feels stretched thin, almost transparent, like light filtering through mist. You begin to sense that time itself lives differently in places like this. That perhaps it breathes more softly when the world is still. You think about how time doesn't move at one single rhythm. It dances to the beat of matter, energy, and perception. A moment on Earth, a moment on Mars, both shaped by distance, gravity, and speed. You recall that Einstein once revealed this truth: time is relative. The faster you move, the slower your time will flow. What feels like a second to you might be an eternity to another. You imagine drifting through space, far from Earth. The stars do not twinkle here. They burn with steady light. Time stretches around you like elastic fabric. You float near a massive planet, and you feel it, the drag of gravity slowing your seconds. Far away, a distant clock ticks faster. You are both in the same universe, but not in the same flow. It fascinates you, how movement bends the rhythm of reality. You picture two travelers, each carrying a perfect clock. One remains still, while the other sails through space near light speed. When they reunite, the traveler finds their clock slower, their body slightly younger. You imagine that moment, a reunion between two timelines, gently out of sync. The same world, the same love, but two different slices of eternity. You begin to sense how strange, how poetic this is. That time is not universal, but personal. That every heartbeat, every orbit, carries its own measure of the infinite. You realize that the flow of time you experience is shaped by your motion through space, your position in gravity, your perception of change. Even your thoughts can alter your sense of seconds. You recall moments when time seemed to vanish, laughter that swallowed hours, silence that stretched into forever. The human mind can speed or slow the clock without moving at all. Neurologically, time perception is tied to attention. The more aware you are, the longer moments feel. The less you notice, the quicker they slip by. So perhaps, you think mindfulness is a kind of time travel, the ability to stretch a moment through presence. You drift back to the stars. Somewhere, a photon leaves a distant galaxy, beginning a journey that will take billions of years. For the photon itself, moving at light speed, no time passes at all. It leaves and arrives in the same instant, from its perspective. You imagine what that must feel like, to exist outside time entirely, untouched by its flow, to be both ancient and newborn at once. You realize that relativity has shown us something profound. Time and space are not separate. They are one fabric, rippling and bending with motion and gravity. You picture this cosmic fabric again, shimmering and endless, filled with invisible waves of distortion. Planets tug at it, stars warp it, and black holes twist it into spirals. You imagine yourself standing on that fabric, watching time curve beneath your feet. Somewhere deep in the galaxy, twin pulsars spin in orbit, their gravity immense. They drag the space, time around them, creating whirlpools of distorted time. Astronomers measure their dance and discover that seconds behave differently there. To them, the pulsars are clocks, cosmic metronomes, their rhythm revealing how time bends under gravity's embrace. It makes you wonder if every celestial body has its own heartbeat, its own tempo within the cosmic symphony. You think about Earth again, how gravity gently slows time here compared to space. A clock on a mountaintop runs faster than one at sea level. The difference is tiny, but real, measurable, constant. Even standing up from your chair means the top of your head experiences time a fraction faster than your feet. You smile at the thought, your body living in two slightly different timelines at once. You let your imagination drift forward in time. You picture explorers traveling near light speed, their ship cutting through the darkness like a silver feather. Inside, they age slowly, their seconds long and heavy. When they return, centuries have passed on Earth. They step into a world transformed, yet for them, only a few years have gone by. This is not fantasy, it's physics. The slow heartbeat of the cosmos revealed by motion itself. You imagine standing at the edge of a black hole. Gravity here is so strong that time nearly stops. To an outside observer, you appear frozen, suspended just above the event horizon. But to you, inside your own flow, time moves normally. You breathe, you blink, unaware of the infinite dilation happening around you. In that strange way, both realities are true. You are still, and yet, you are moving. The more you think about it, the more time feels less like a river and more like a landscape. A terrain that bends, folds, and twists depending on where you stand. Some places steep, where time slides fast, others calm and deep, where it pools quietly. You wonder if consciousness itself moves through this terrain, stepping through valleys of memory and mountains of imagination. You imagine the future of understanding time. Physicists searching for a theory that unites quantum mechanics and relativity. In the quantum world, time behaves strangely. Particles seem to influence events in both directions, as if the future can touch the past. Some theories even suggest time may emerge from entanglement, from the deep connection between particles. If true, then time is not fundamental. It is born from relationship, from interaction, from energy noticing itself. You close your eyes and imagine the truth within yourself. Your heart beats, your neurons fire, your breath moves in and out. Each pattern, each connection, creates its own microcosm of time. You are not merely within time. You generate it. Every perception, every heartbeat, adds rhythm to the endless silence. Without observation, perhaps there is no before or after, only pure being, unmeasured and infinite. The thought feels light, freeing. You begin to realize that even if time flows differently across the cosmos, there is still harmony. Every moment, from the spinning pulsars to the blinking of your eyes, is part of one vast continuum. You exist within it completely, and it flows through you in return. You are a ripple, and the universe is the ocean. Both inseparable, both eternal. You think of dreams, and how in dreams relativity becomes personal. A night's sleep can feel like a lifetime, or a single breath. Perhaps the brain mimics the flexibility of the cosmos, bending internal time for its own stories. Perhaps that's why dreams feel so vast, because inside them, time has no anchor. It drifts, it folds, it becomes art. The forest returns in your mind, the same mist, the same quiet, but now you see it differently. The trees, the wind, the stars above, each moving in their own measure of time. Even the soil beneath your feet contains echoes of slower rhythms. Minerals forming, roots spreading, stones eroding. You realize that all of existence is a gradient of time, woven together in silence. You breathe in, slowly. The air feels heavy, ancient, kind. You imagine yourself as part of the same continuum that bends light, curves stars, and defines gravity. Time hums softly through you, like a pulse shared by every living thing. You are both timeless and temporary, both observer and participant. You drift now, floating gently in that understanding. The seconds blur, dissolving into something vast and still. You are moving, yet unmoving, aging yet eternal. And as your thoughts fade, you can almost hear the fabric of space, time sigh, stretching quietly across the stars tonight. You are invited to drift through thought and wonder, into a place where science feels like dreaming, and dreaming feels like understanding. As you settle deeper into calm, your mind opens softly, like a flower unfolding in moonlight. You begin to imagine not facts, but feelings, the quiet, luminous truth that the universe whispers when all else is still. You close your eyes and sense the vastness of the cosmos stretching beyond your imagination. Every breath you take feels like the rhythm of galaxies expanding and contracting, like the rise and fall of a cosmic tide. You picture the Milky Way, a river of stars, curving across endless blackness. It moves with elegance, not in haste, but in harmony. And within that quiet movement, you feel something eternal, something alive. You imagine drifting among those stars, free of weight, free of time. The air, or what remains of it, tastes like silence. Around you, nebulae bloom like floating gardens, their gases tinted in sapphire and gold. Each cloud gives birth to new suns, glowing softly, patiently. You realize that creation in the universe is not loud or violent, but gentle. A process of endless unfolding, like the slow blooming of light in the dark. Your thoughts wander to the nature of existence itself. How everything, stars, planets, you, is built from the same ingredients. The carbon in your bones was born in the death of a star. The iron in your blood once shimmered in the heart of a supernova. You are, in the most literal sense, the universe remembering itself. Every cell of your being hums with ancient history, a quiet echo of creation. You imagine the atoms within you moving endlessly, tiny worlds spinning inside your body. Electrons dance around their nuclei, forming invisible patterns of energy and possibility. If you could shrink down, become small enough, you'd see that there is no stillness. Only motion, vibration, connection. What feels solid is mostly space, a symphony of energy playing so quickly it becomes form. And you realize, you are never truly still. The thought feels like a wave, passing gently through your mind. You let it flow, soft and slow. You imagine that all motion, even the smallest, contributes to something greater. Perhaps the spin of an electron, the flicker of a neuron, adds to the pulse of the cosmos itself. Perhaps your heartbeat is synchronized, in ways unseen, with the rhythms of stars and planets. You remember how scientists once called this connection the cosmic web. Filaments of matter stretch across billions of light years, linking galaxies like dew on a spider's thread. The same structure appears inside your brain, neurons branching, glowing. communicating through tiny sparks. Two vastly different scales, yet the same pattern emerges. You wonder if this is coincidence or reflection. If the universe, in some quiet way, mirrors itself within you. You drift deeper into the thought that maybe consciousness itself is part of the universe's evolution. That matter, over time, learned how to see itself. From dust to molecules, from molecules to thought. A slow awakening of awareness woven into reality. You imagine the universe looking through your eyes, hearing through your mind, feeling its own existence for the first time. And in that moment, you feel deeply connected, like a drop realizing it belongs to the ocean. Your mind drifts to the edges of space, where the light grows faint and ancient. There, you picture the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, faint, persistent, like the memory of a beginning that never truly ended. That light has been traveling for almost 14 billion years, touching everything, whispering stories to the atoms that became you. You feel a quiet gratitude, knowing that this faint radiation once passed through you, unnoticed yet eternal. You imagine sound in space, though you know it cannot travel there. But in your mind, it hums softly, the deep, resonant tone of the universe expanding. Astronomers have mapped it, the frequencies of creation itself, a kind of cosmic lullaby echoing through emptiness. You let that sound guide you. You breathe in rhythm with it, your chest rising and falling with the pulse of existence. The thought of expansion comforts you. Everything in the universe moves away from everything else, yet remains connected by invisible threads. You think of galaxies drifting apart like petals on water, yet still held within the same vast ocean. Maybe that's what life is too, drifting apart, yet never separate. Every connection, every memory still exists, stretched across the fabric of space and time. You think about time again, how it moves differently near stars, near black holes, near light itself. How, to a beam of light, time does not exist at all. The past and the future become the same. You begin to wonder if, in the quiet of sleep, your mind touches something similar. A place where time loosens its grip. A space between seconds where you are free, infinite, unmeasured. You imagine falling gently toward a black hole, not with fear, but with awe. Around you, light bends like liquid, space folds into itself. You drift closer, and time slows, softening until it almost stops. The edges of reality blur, and you can no longer tell where you end and everything else begins. It feels peaceful, not destruction, but transformation. A return to something timeless. Your awareness floats now in a sea of starlight. Every atom in your body glows faintly, like a constellation reborn. You can feel the hum of gravity, the slow turning of planets, the whisper of radiation between galaxies. The universe feels alive, not cold or empty, but vast and aware. You realize that existence, in all its mystery, is not about survival or meaning. It is simply about being. You imagine yourself as part of that being, a thought in the mind of the cosmos. Not separate, not small, just different in form. The same particles that make you also make the stars you see. The same physical laws that move galaxies also shape your heartbeat. You are not in the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as you. You picture the flow of energy that never ends, the cycle of transformation that defines all things. Stars die, and their remnants form new worlds. Worlds age, and their matter returns to dust. Dust becomes light again. And through all of it, the universe sings a single song of renewal. You feel that melody within you now, steady and endless. As you drift further, you imagine a distant future, trillions of years from now, when the stars fade and silence returns. Even then, you think something will remain. The echo of structure, the memory of light, the trace of connection. Time itself might fade, but existence will hum quietly beneath it, waiting for another beginning. You breathe slowly, deeply. The boundaries between your thoughts and the cosmos dissolve. You can almost feel yourself expanding, your awareness blending with the soft hum of the stars. Every heartbeat feels like a pulse of space, time. Every breath like a wave across infinity. You let your body relax, your mind loosen. You are floating now, suspended in the quiet understanding that you are made of starlight, and that starlight is still alive within you. It will never fade, not truly. It only changes form, only shifts in rhythm. And somewhere in that infinite rhythm, between your heartbeat and the turning of galaxies, you find peace. Not an ending, not a conclusion, just a soft, endless unfolding as the universe breathes quietly through you.